Okay, so we were doing this verse number 18, the Sankara Bhashya. Ahajam karma kaunteya sadosa mapina tyajete sarvarambha hi dogushena dhumi nagni rivavritaha. So whatever work you do, they'll have some imperfections. And that is one of the reasons why I'm advising you that you do not have the option of not doing your activities. You should constantly do your activities, and in course of time, you will have that jnana adhikara, because earlier he has mentioned that by doing swadharma in the verse number 46 and 47 he has mentioned siddhim binnati manavah, and then sanksiddhim lavate naraha 45 and 46, and then in the 47 he's saying how they get rid of all the papas by doing swadharma. So he's saying even if there are certain problems, you are very smart, you are very intelligent, you find some faults, and that's why you are arguing that you do not want to fight this battle and you want to be a sannyasi, but you should continue to do this. Now, in this context, there are largely two new arguments. Bhagavan Shankaracharya, while commentating on it and explaining it, he brings this into the discussion. Actually, who will do karma tyaga? That is the point of question. Who is going to do karma tyaga? So he has to have a karta. They has to have some agency. And what it means to do karma tyaga. So he will not do any activities. So somewhere he wants to sort of resolve that issue regarding whether Atma is the karta or not. Atma is not the karta, but it appears like karta. There is a kartutva adhyasa, abhimana, because of which it has that superimposition and behaves as if it is the karta. That we have discussed in the chapter 2, and how that Kanghatayati Hantikam, that there is no kartritva, no bhoktritva. However, if we think like this, all activities we are doing, these are also very phenomenal at a certain level of our appreciation of reality. When our eyes are not very sharp, eyes are not very keen on and capable of sort of orienting themselves towards the subtlest of truths, which is the Atmajnana, you have to do everything, we have to do everything. That is what he's advising here. So it's a kind of a diversion, but it's very, very relevant. He's having a acceptance, discussion, and refutation of the kartutva and kriya and all these activities as to what is kriya, how things happen, who is doing it. These things he's refuting the Sankhya Satkaryavada and the Nyaya Arambhavada, and we were doing it. I think I tried to move a little hurriedly yesterday, so let me simplify it and also conclude it today. So, if you look at this, that Sankara Bhashya, what he's saying that this Swadharma karmas, it starts with a debate on this point. What karma you should not drop? What karmas you should continue to? Whether it is Swabhavaja karma or it is all karmas. Earlier there was a discussion that Nitya Namitika karma or Kamya karma, what to drop. And these we have already discussed in the Sarva Karma Sannyasa, and later on in the chapter number 16, 17, 18, the discussion on Tyaga also, we had a long discussion there. We have discussed all that. So even Nitya Namitika karma, he will do without any Phalasanga. That is the Sattvika Tyaga. That is what he explained there. Nitya Namitika karma, and who will do it? He's Mumukshu, but not yet Jnana Adhikari. He's about to be, he has that Jnana Icha. He has Mumuksha and a Jnana Icha, but not yet there. Therefore, he'll do Nitya Karmas with complete dedication. And even Nitya Karma, there is no actual Phala. So, what Phala Kankhya? No, there is some Phala. Antakarana Suddhi will happen anyways. He has read about it. But even there, also, he doesn't waste his time thinking about any good results, auspicious outcomes of his Nitya Karmas, his duties. So, he does his duty, Ishvara Arpana Buddhya, and puts it at the feet of the Lord Vasudeva, Lord Shiva, or Ma Kali, whosoever is his Aradhya Devata, any benefits. And that sansiti, that purification, that jnana yogyata automatically follows. It becomes a reality in his life. But even a minor craving for it, it will make it very problematic. That is what he says. Therefore, here he is saying, Kim asesata tyaktum asakyam karma iti na tyajit, kimba sahajasya karma tyaga dosha bhavati iti. So, what are you talking about? Is it sahaja karma tyaga or all karma? Then he's saying, So, there is a question which can come. So, what do you mean by this? What is relevant? So, he's explaining, Yadi tavat, then, there is explaining that Purvapakhi, actually, if it is impossible to do Sarvakarma Tyaga, but somebody is able to do Sarvakarma Tyaga, and that is good. Yeah, so he's saying, Yadi tavat asesatha tyaktum asakyam, asesatah karmam, your karma tyaktum asakyam, it's not possible. It is not tajyam, therefore sahaja karma is not tajya, evam tari, if you say so, asesatha tyage. सहज कर्म को तो छोड़ना, पूरा कर्म को ही कोई छोड़ देता है, तो डेफिनेटली दैट मीन्स सहज मीन्स व्हाट, स्वभावज कर्म, दैट मीन्स स्वधर्म, varnasrama karma, whatever. If a person not only lives whatever he is born with, his orientation, but also he lives all karma, becomes a sannyasi, then he's superior. Guneva syat iti siddhim bhavati. Then there is something called ekadesi. In our tradition, there will be siddhanti, there is a purvapakya. It's like you are going for a discussion, a panel discussion. So you are leading a team, you are sitting there. So when the opposite, your client is asking some questions, sometimes you look at your students or your assistants to answer those questions. And then if they cannot handle it properly, you come into picture, but you let them speak and learn the trick. Similarly, here there is a ekadesi, is a partial siddhanti, not a perfect one, but he knows how to ask a few questions. He is asking, Satyam, evam asesa tyaga eva na upapadyati chit. Actually, asesa tyaga is never possible. Then what do you say? If I argue like this, just upon a question, immediately the Purvaki is saying, okay. You see, that is how the Nyaya philosopher is coming into this discussion. He's first refuting the Sankhya and the Bauddha Mata. And he's saying Nyaya Mata is better. He'll explain how. So I'll just quickly, if you're having the text, you can look at it. But even otherwise, you listen, you will understand it. King Nitya Prachalitatmaka Purusha, that guna is always chala, always vikari. Purusha yatha sankhyanam gunaha kingva kriya eva karakam. So far Buddhists are concerned, kriya eva karakam. They don't have any independent agency because they believe in annata. There is no atma or anything. Kshanikavadi, everything is born and dead at the same second. So the jnana, the kriya, everything is happening. So where do you imagine karta? No, that also is kind of created and destroyed. That is also happening. That kriya and karma and karta is just one and the same thing, taking different. So they believe in what kingva kriya eva karakam yatha buddhanam panchaskandaha kshana pradvangsinaha vijnanavadis. So these five skandhas are, there is something called rupa, then vedana, experience and feeling, then vijnana, the knowledge aspect, the feeling aspect. Just imagine, you see that one particular thing is appearing in several things. So the first one is rupa, it takes one form or some dharma, then a vijnana, then a vedana, then a sangya, one name, nama rupa. That is actually was coined by them. So name and form. So nama rupa, sangya, and finally sanskara, the memory thereof that stays in the mind. So all these the Buddhists believe, but they are kyanika vijnanavadi. All consciousness repeats itself every moment. That there is a kind of mutation taking place. Ubhayathapi karmana aste satha tyago no bhavati. Whether you are Buddhist or you are a Sankhyavadi who believes in gunas, the gunas are all the time oscillating, moving. So how will you do karma tyaga? There is a movement going on all the time. In case of Buddhists also, constantly there is some sort of a kriya is going on. So who will leave what? Kriya karaka is one and the same thing. So who is going to do karma tyaga? So these things is refutable. So the Nyayaka enters. He said, that is why, listen to me, I have a very good way to solve this. And how karma tyaga is possible, I'll explain you. That is what he's saying. He's trying to challenge what is written in this verse and also Bhagwan's Mata. What is he saying? Atha tritiya pakshya sada api pakshyo yada karoti tada sakriyam vastu yada na karoti tada niskriyam vastu tad eva tatra evam sati sakyam karma asesata yuktam. So what he's saying is, just imagine like this, that you have a steel, a kind of an iron bar, and you pass electricity in it. Immediately it behaves like a magnet, and there's a magnetic field. Withdraw electricity, it ceases to be a magnet. And then it can do a lot of attraction, the kind of activities it can do. Similarly, this Atma, it is Atma Mana Sanyoga, there is some guna, and then it behaves like a Chaitana, but otherwise it's Jada for them. So it is actually completely without having any vikara. But anytime there is mana, Atma Mana Sanyoga, it takes note of it, and there is jnana, and then janati, Ichhati, yatate, karoti. This all happens in the Atma. First, he needs to know what is it. Then, he janati, then ichhati, he wants to have it. Then yatate, he does yatna. Then he does it. That is how it happens for these nyayakas. So he's saying, then karma tyaga is possible because permanently the Atma is not doing work. Like in case of the Nyaya, the Sankhyas, the Trigunatmaka thing they imagine, that's always in a kind of a flux. In case of Buddhists also, that's always kind of moving. So it's difficult there. Why don't you accept my view? That's what he's saying. Ayam tu asmin tutiya pakhe visheso na nitya prathalitam vastu na pi kriya eva karakam. He's saying, look, there is something special about me, and what is that special? That first thing, I am not nitya prathalitam vastu like the Trigunatmika in case of Sankhyas. My Atma is not like this. And then napi kriya eva karakam. That is like Buddhist. Kriya eva karakam. The action itself is the agent. I'm not talking like that. King Dari, then what are you saying? Vyavastite drabya avidyamana kriya utpadyate vidyamana cha vinasyati. The Atma is there. So it's like this pen is still. You move it. Then there is action in this pen. It stops. There is no action. So when there is no action, then there is a utpatti of the action. Where there is action, there is end of action. So karma tyaga is possible. Asesata. Then what is Atma is explaining. Suddham. Atma is what? Suddham dravyam saktimat avatishtate. That Atma is Suddha dravya. Vibhu. And saktimat avatishtate iti evam ahuhu kanadaha. Vaishesikamata. Tad eva cha karakam iti. And that Atma is karaka. Asmin pakhye ko dosha. So what is the problem if I argue like this? That is the, Nyaya Mata or the Vaishesika Mata together, they are saying. And Shankaracharya, the Siddhanti, the Vedanti is saying, Ayam eva tu dosa yataha tu abhagavatam matam idam. Abhagavata means na bhagavata uktam. It's not said by Bhagavan Krishna in the Bhagavad Gita. It's not Bhagavata means that Bhagavata. Tasya idam, there is a Vyakarana niyama, so it becomes Adivritti Bhagavata. So Bhagavata Uktam Bhagavatam. So that is why it's not Bhagavan's Vachana in Bhagavad Gita. You are refuting it. Katham Gyayate Kaise Pata Chala. Then he is explaining. Yatah aha Bhagavan Nasuto Vidyate Bhavaha Ityati. Bhagavan has already explained. Look at verse number 16 of the chapter 2. He says Nasuto Vidyate Bhavaha Na Bhavo Vidyate Sataha. The Sat can never have a Bhava. It can never become a Vidyamana. It can never cease to exist. It's Nitya. Anadi Ananta. On the other hand, what is asat can never exist. What is unreal cannot have existence. What is real can never be relegated into non-existence. Kanadanami asato bhava sata eva abhava iti idam matam. Now the refutation of the Kanada, the debate between the Vedanti and the Nyayaka starts here. He's saying that, look here, your Nyaya philosophy regarding the Karya Utpatti, there are Arambhavadis. As we discussed yesterday, this pen is created. The pen wasn't there. The pen came into being when some plastic and some color and all these and parts are put together. The pen comes into being. The pen was not there. That means it was asat. There was prag abhava, prior absence of the pen. That is called prag abhava. I break the pen, then pradhvangsa abhava. So this is post-destruction absence of the pen. If you break it, that is post-destructive, absence. And the first one is the prior absence. Okay, so these are the two absences that are talking about. Then there are other abhavas. We will go there. So he's saying, so pranadanam hi asata bhava. Out of nothing, this pen comes into picture. That's what you are saying. I cannot accept it. Abhagavatvepi nyayavat chet ko dosha iti. Okay, so what if I have good logic? Bhagavan Krishna hasn't said, how does that matter to me? I'm a rationalist. You know that the Nyayikas, they also accept Vedas, but not necessarily because the Veda is swataha, evident. They say because we can prove through logic that this is acceptable, then only that's logic. So even they have a long argument as to why Ishvara has to be there, otherwise Srishti cannot be explained. So they have a long logical argument as to why there is a proof for existence of God. They don't accept God exists because Upanishad says this. They don't accept many Vedanta Vakyas, even though Upanishad says this. So they are rationalists. They are realists in a way. They are called the dualist Indian realists. Now, Uchyate. Then the Vedanti says, Dosavati tu idam sarva pramana virodhat. This particular view that out of nothing something can be produced is against all pramanas. Yadi tavad dyunakadi katham. How do you say that? Yadi tavad dyunakadi dravyam prag utpatehe. Atyantam eva asat. Utpannam cha sthitam kaschid kalam punaha atyantam eva asatvam apadyate. Now he's saying, look here, according to your argument, as I was telling yesterday, the two paramanus, two atoms, they come together. That's called a molecule, and we call it dyunuka. And when three dyunuks, which means six paramanus or six atoms come together, that is a trishunuka. The trishunuka is visible. Dyunuka is not visible, but dyunuka is the first karya rupa. The paramanu is karana rupa, is nitya. Dyunuka is anitya. Trishunuka is anitya. And then when this whole thing expands, it becomes the whole sansara, everything comes into it. It is expanding. It becomes mountains and this and that. Okay? So that is the argument they have. They have their own theory of atomism. Now, what he's saying, this Dyunika is not Nitya, Paramanu is Nitya. So this Dyunika was absolutely not there before two atoms came together. Okay, so that name of two atoms coming together is not Dyunuk. So Dyunuk wasn't there. And suddenly, and then when the Dyunuk again breaks into two atoms, and it isn't there. So there is Atyanta Bhava. One is Praga Bhava, other one is Pradhvangsa Bhava. Sitam Pasit Kalam Punah Atyantam Eva Asatvam Apadyate. Then it gets destroyed, again it's not there. Or the Dyunuk becomes Trishanuk. The Dyunuk ceases to exist. It becomes a Trishanuk. So then the name loses its significance. It's named as somebody else. तथा च सति असद एव सद जायते abhava bhava bhavati bhava cha abhava iti. So first there were two paramanus. You don't call it dyunuk. They come together, you call it a molecule or dyunuk. And so dyunuk is born out of non-dyunuk. Out of non-dyunuk, dyunuk is born. Out of absence of dyunuk, presence of dyunuk comes. And then the dyunuk mixes with another three, becomes trishanuk, another two. The three dyunuks become trishanuk, which means six atoms together. We call it Trishanuk, means Dyunuk has ceased to exist. Dyunuk was there in between. That is what you are saying. And this is very complicated. Tatra avhava jayamanaha prag utpattehe sasa visana kalapaha samavaya asamavaya nimittakhyam karanam apeksha jayate iti. And then what you are saying is a little complicated. And please understand, the Vedanta is explained to him that this pen which has come into picture suddenly came out of it, and there was a prag of bhava. Okay, and there are three causes of creation of any particular object. Any karya rupa has three karanas. What is samavai karana? Samavai is that avayava avayavi bhava. Like for example, the parts of this pen they're held together. So this is one avayava, this is one avayava, and this is one avayava. The clip. So these three are avayavas, and they are in samavaya sambandha with the pen total. Okay. And so they are held together. Till the pen is there, they will have Nitya Sambandha with Samavastu Eka Eva. That Samavaya, the whole universe, there is only one Samavaya Sambandha. But they are Avachedaka is different. Now the Samavaya here, the Nitya Sambandha is between the parts and the whole only here. So they have a complicated theory. Will not enter there. Now, what is saying then? Asamavaya Karana. The Sanyoga of these parts. Okay, the Sanyoga of these parts is Asamavaya Karana. Or the color of this part and the color of this part, the plastic, is color of the pen. The color of the upadana karana also is reflected as color of the this karya rupa, and that is also asamai karana of this. Either way, any which way, end of the day, that is the second karana. And the third one, they have some lakshana, there are some logical things out there. Like for example, if you have green cotton, if you are stitching a dress, that dress will also be green color. So the green, the tantu rupa is asamvai karana of the pata rupa. That is what they are saying. Not a problem. That we have no issues with. And then finally, they think there is a nimitta karana. The potter, the weaver, or any person, the pain maker, is the nimitta karana. He's the agency outside of it. But what he is saying is, with all these sophisticated theories, you are trying to drive home the point that out of non-pen, the pen has come out, and this pen will enter into a phase called non-pen again, or absence of pen. Right? That is what is problematic is saying. Nacha evam abhava utpadyate karanava apekhyate iti sakyam bhaktum. And why? Asatam sasavisaranadinam adarsanat. You cannot say that because of something which is asat, the pain was absent. And then the abhava, pain abhava was there, kalama abhava was there. Now the pain has come into picture. You're saying that it has come out of absence of pain. Now, you're saying what kind of relation can you imagine between absence and presence of something? Okay, there is a pen, there is a finger, there's Sanyoga Sambandha, there is a pen and the palm on which the pen is saying, there is a Sanyoga Sambandha, I can understand all this. There is a pen and the parts of the pen are there is a Samavaya Sambandha, I have no problem with it. But with Abhava, pain Abhava, whether it is Samavaya Karana or Asamavaya Karana, Nimitta Karana, what Karana it has with the pain Abhava becoming pain Bhava, the Kalama Bhava, this is Kalama Bhava. Kalama Bhava, when it was not there, what kind of relationship? It's not. He's saying, if that is the case, then I will pick up another, subjective idea called Bandhya Putra, son of a barren mother. This is just a category used in Vedanta a lot. Even Buddhists use it. Sasa Vishanavat, they will always say, or Bandhya Putravat. Sasa Vishana is rabbit's horns. It's not there. Or you will say the barren lady's son. Now, can we say barren lady's son can be either material cause or efficient cause, nimitta karana, or asamavai karana of something else? No, it's not prasiddha. We don't know what it is. What kind of relationship are you imagining? Causal relationship. No kind of causal relationship can be associated with, can be attributed to something which is non-existent. That is a standard thing Vedanta is saying. Okay? So bhavatmakaha ched ghatadeha utpadyamanaha kinchid abhivyakti matra karanam apeksha utpadyante iti saktum pratipattum. You're saying, yeah, if you want to say that there is a bhavatmakaha, this pain abhava, pain's prior abhava, prior that prag abhava, the prior state of this pain, which means absence of pain. This is also bhavatmaka. That is a certain period, like let's imagine a girl gets married and then she becomes a mother. Okay. Now, when she had not conceived, she's just married. She's a young girl, got married. Okay. In the first few months of her marriage, first early periods of marriage, till she decides to have a child, she's a non-mother, right? She's praga bhava of a mother. So the prior absence of motherhood is there in her. But is she totally nothing? No, she exists, she's a human being. And that pragabhava of motherhood is bhavatmaka. There is something that is eligibility. She's a healthy young lady who is married to a person and she has the possibility to conceive and have a child. Same way, a person who has already studied and appeared at an examination, he will get a degree. Before he gets a degree, he is not a graduate. Till the result is declared, he is not a graduate. But was he nothing? Was there nothing? No, there was a person who has studied, he has appeared at the examination, he knows the subject, the exams are declared, and suddenly he becomes a graduate. So the non-graduate thing that we're talking about is bhavatmaka, means though he was there. Now there is something. If I argue like this, what do you say? This is okay. That means that abhivyakti is happening. Now, if you talk like this, the Vedanti, because he has to beat him, because there are a lot of flaws in it. King asataha cha sadbhave sataha cha asadbhave na kvachit pramana prameya vyavahare vishwasaha kasyachit syat. If you talk like this, असत से सत हो गया, कलम का प्रागभाव था, उसमें कलम उत्पन्न हो गया, लड़की का जो मातृत्व है वो माँ बन गई, वो माँ का प्रागभाव था और वह एक माता जी आ गई, and there is a mother. If you talk like this, I have another point. How do you know that when she was not a mother, what is the relationship between that mother's absence and the mother now? There is no fundamental relationship. How can you say the mother's absence refers to an eligible, healthy young girl who is married? You cannot tell that to me. I can say this absence is, you can say, why shouldn't a man who is 60 years of age can also give birth to a child? Why? He is also absence of a mother. Absence of a mother is there in a man also. Absence of a mother is there in a tree also. Absence of a mother is there in a book. The book is a non-mother, isn't it? Because you are saying absence of mother. You see, abhava of matritva. Matritva abhava. Pustaka praptam. Book is also not having matritva. The tree doesn't have matritva. This cell phone doesn't have matritva. Can they all lead to a matritva? Give birth to motherhood? No. Therefore, he's saying, Sat Sat Eva Asat Asat Eva iti nischya anupapatte hai. If you talk like this, कुछ से भी कुछ पैदा हो जाएगा. Then all scientific relationships we establish in mathematics, in science, will become futile, because anything may materialize out of anything. Because logically, you are using a word called abhava. That is your fault, he's saying. That is your biggest problem. Because this is not acceptable in a very scientific manner. That's what the Vedanta says. It's not very logical. You're using a word called abhava. The moment you say abhava anything can be imagined there. That is the biggest problem there. Therefore, he's saying, pramana prameya vyavahara vishvasa kasyachitya. So this is pramana, and there is a method of knowing, and there is something to be known. This sort of understanding of a causal relationship, a cause and effect relationship, will become difficult to believe. Sat sat eva asat asat eva nischya anupapatte. Because what is sat? There was a lady with the capacity, and she became a mother. There was a guy who had completed the degree, he had studied well and became a lawyer or became an engineer. You cannot argue like this. Yeah, we can argue because we know anyone who is studying engineering, is doing well, has taken examination, has the chances of being an engineer. We are talking like this. We are not saying before he became an engineer, there was absence of engineer. We don't use this language like you people, Nayaka people. That's what he's saying. Kincha utpadyate iti dyunakadehe dravyasya. Kincha, when you say utpadyate iti, the moment you have this vakya, ghata utpadyate, this yantri utpadyate, this engineer utpadyate iti dyunakadehe dravyasya swakarana satta sambandham ahuhu. And then if you say, there's some the Nayakas say that before the dyunaka, when the dyunaka is utpanna, the moment it's there, you know what it means? Dyunaka is in samavaya sambandha with the paramanus. Samavaya sambandhavan dyunakaha. And with the two paramanus, there is a samavaya sambandha. That is utpatti. If I argue like this, prag utpatti cha asata. Asat means karya. Karya se paschat. That asat, that there was dyunaka abhava, and we say, in paschat, swakarana व्यापारम अपेक्ष्य स्वकारणैः परमाणुभिः सत्तया च समवाय लक्षणेन संबंधेन संबध्यते संबंधम सत् कारण समवेतम सद भवति. Now he's saying, if you argue like this, that first there was absence of this pen, and when the moment it is created, then you are saying that it gets into a relationship of inherence or samavaya sambandha with its different parts. You are arguing like this. The pen, first of all, was asat. It didn't exist. The parts did exist. The pen didn't exist. And now suddenly you are saying the pen is coming into picture and establishing relationship between this. It's like there is a man and there's a woman. Okay. And they get married. Now they're related to each other as spouses. So each addresses the other one as spouse, and they have a family. Before marriage, was there any relationship between them? No. Now you're saying they have a marital relationship because they have got married. That is the samavaya sambandha. Let's imagine. So you're saying now there is a family and the husband, wife, they are partners. There is a relationship between them. Before marriage, can you imagine there was any? Yeah, I mean, you can have other words because we are not nyayikas here, but how will you explain this? The absence of family was there. The man was there, the woman was there. They got married, and they became husband wife. And this word couple or pati patni, whatever you mention, suddenly it comes into being, and you're saying before that what was there? Pati patni abhavaha, samandha abhavaha. That is what is making very complicated. And suddenly it becomes sattavan. You're saying before it was asat, it becomes sat again. Then there is a samandha parikalpana. I don't understand. Tatra vaktyamam katham asataha sat karanam bhave. Asataha, that means, see, there was this girl was there, right? And the mother, was the mother there? When the girl was there, she was not married. The girl existed. She was not married. And then she gets married, and then she becomes a mother after 1 year. Okay. Now, when this girl, you are saying she is the cause of this girl who becomes a mother. So she is the cause of this mother. If you argue like this, first you have to say that mother was also there in some potential form. If you say mother didn't exist and the girl becomes a mother, and the mother, when that sambandha you're establishing, there is a young, eligible girl, healthy girl who can be a mother. Okay, and this girl is having some relationship, causal relationship with whom? A motherhood, a lady with motherhood. And who is that lady? No, she doesn't exist. So how can you have karya karana samantha? That is what he is asking Vedanti. Sat karanam bhavet sambandho va kenachit nahi bandhya putrasya satta sambandho va karana va kenachit pramanatah kalpayitum sakyam. If you talk like this, bandhya putra is also abhava. Yeah, bandhya putra is also abhava. So can you relate it to anything? Similarly, that particular absence of mother, and how can you have a relationship, that absence of mother, with the girl, or the potential possibility of that girl becoming motherhood? What is absent? It doesn't exist. You can put in anything there. Doesn't exist. It can be anything. So don't argue like this. He's saying. Then Purva Pakshi is saying, no, you are trying to misrepresent my argument. And he says, no, na eva vaisisikehi abhavasya sambandha kalpyate. No, we are never saying that abhava is in relationship with anything. No, we are not saying this. Dyunukadinam hi dravyanam swakarena samaya lakshana sambandha. When Dyunuk is formed, it is having satta rupata. It is in existence. And that Dyunuk is in samavaya sambandha with Paramanu. That's what we are saying. Satam eva uchyateti, and therefore the relationship with what? Dhunuk is Sattavan, the Paramanus are Sattavan, they are all existent. There is a relationship. What's your problem? Where is Abhava here? No, he's saying no, you can't argue like this. Vedanti is saying, why? Sambandhat prag sattva anabhyupagamat. Because when Dhunuk is not there, you are imagining that there is something where you can establish cause-effect relationship. Essentially, the Vedanta is trying to beat up the Nyayika, finding fault with its linguistic presentation of the cause-effect relationship. That is the main issue here. So, Satta anabhyupagamat nahi vaisesikehi kulala danda chakradi vyaparat praghatadinam astitvam ichyate. He said, ask your Nyayika friends, do they agree, like the Satkaryavadi, the Sankhya's, that if there is a chakra and there is a kulala, the potter, and there is some clay, some mitti is there, some clay, lump of clay is there, the ghata is there, do they say this? They say mitti is there is clay, there is a kulala, and there is a chakra, that wheel which they use to make the pot. They never say that the pot exists there. So you don't behave like you are someone else. That is cheating. That's what he's saying. Nachaham mrida eva ghatadi akara praptim icchanti. And then if you talk like this, mitti रूप से ही है, so far your न्यायिक thing is concerned, and the ghata is made out of it. That's what you are saying, that you are arambhavadi, you are asatkaryavadi, you are not a satkaryavadi, that the karya is there in karana in a hidden form. That's not your point of view, and don't argue like this. Tatah cha asat eva sambandha parisesa drishto bhavati. And therefore the avidyamana ghata, that, or the avidyamana pain, the pain which is not visible before it comes into being, is having some relationship with its parts. Is that what you are trying to say? Logically cannot sustain it. A thing which is not visible, which doesn't exist, cannot logically be seen to have any established relationship with anything else. That is the logical point he's trying to making. Nanu asata api samavaya lakshana sambandho na viruddha. Again, he's going back. Who? The Nyayak on his words. Actually, this is called pratigyahani. Whatever you are saying, you are trying to twist it, changing your position, like some lawyers do in a courtroom. They change their whatever, they just become hostile. They change what they had said. Similarly, saying, asata api samavaya lakshana sambandho na viruddha. Even something is not there, that asat thing, the karya bhava, the pain is not there. It can be in relationship of inherence in the parts. If I say no, bandhya putradinam adarsanat, can you show it to me? The bandhya putra can be in any relationship with anything. It is aprasiddha. It is a faulty category. And when you say kalama abhavaha, that is avidyamana kalama, these are all foolish words. They don't mean anything. Okay. In Western philosophy, there is something called bracketing. In the linguistic thinkers, the positivists, they say whatever words don't make any sense, let's not argue, just bracket them out. Similarly, the Vedanta is bracketing him out, saying, no, I cannot even entertain this word called abhava, pragabhava. Then, Purvapakshi is having another argument. Ghatade eva pragabhavasya swakarana samandho bhavati na bandhyaputra dehe. I am talking about pragabhava. You are bringing in bandhyaputra all the time. You are bringing an extreme example to refute whatever I am saying. Abhavasya tulyate api iti vishesa abhavasya vaktavyam. Then the Vedanta is saying, okay, so you are saying pragabhava is different from the bandhyaputra example I am giving. Okay, give me some logic that abhavas can be categorized, that different kind of absences. Kalama abhava is different from another abhava and another abhava. What is the logic? You please explain. Give me good definition. Lakshanatah. Na kenachit vishesho darsaitim shakyah. You cannot then, in the next paragraph, you say, what is that bheda between different abhavas? Ekasya abhava, dvayoho abhavaha, एक का अभाव है, दूसरे का दोनों का अभाव है, सर्वस्य अभाव, absence of everything, प्राग अभाव, prior absence, प्रध्वंस अभाव, post destruction, post catastrophic or post destructive whatever absence. Iteratara bhava. Iteratara bhava is anyanya bhava. The pen is not a pencil and pencil is not a pen. And atyanta bhava, pen was there and now pen I remove. So kalamavat bhutalaha, and I remove this. Kalama is not there on the bhutala. So there is absence of it. Darsaitum sakyaha. Asati cha vishese, when there is no speciality that you can prove to be associated with abhava, ghatasya pragabhava eva kulaladivihi घट भावम आपद्यते समन्ध्यते च भावेन कपालाख्येन स्वकारणेन सर्व व्यवहार योग्य च भवति न तो घटस्य एव प्रध्वंस अभावः अभावत्वे सति अपि इति प्रध्वंसादि अभावानां न क्वचित् व्यवहार योग्यत्वं प्रागभावस्य एव दुणुकादि द्रव्याख्यस्य उत्पत्त्यादि व्यवहार अर्हत्वम् इति एतत् असमंजसम अभावत्व अविशेषात अत्यंत प्रध्वंस भावयोः इव. So he's made a long sentence. I'll tell you, it's very simple. What he's saying is, ठीक है, you're arguing that there is a ghata and that pot is made out of it, or this pencil is made out of its parts. So the pragava of the pen, there is a bhava padartha, you can argue, and the parts are there and you connect them and then the pen is made. So this pragabhava of the pen is vyavahara yogya. Why? Because the pen can come out of it. Okay, fine, not a problem. I throw this pen into fire, it becomes ash. Okay, now the pradhvangsha bhava, is it vyavahara yogya? Is there anything going to come out of it? No. Everything gets terminated. This is also abhava, this is also abhava. This is pragabhava, this is pradhvangsha bhava. The only vyavahara yogyata you are finding with pragabhava, because the material elements are there and then the pen can be formed. Once you destroy it, they will be there in some form, but they are not vyavahara yogya. They cannot be. You cannot make another pen. Of course, now there is recycling, but normally if there is a pot, you break it. You cannot make another pot. There's a human being, you kill that human being, you cannot make anything else, right? So in that sense, he's saying, and so therefore, iti etat asamanjasam abhavatva avishesad. So this is actually not comparable and absolutely atyanta and pratamsa bhavayo eva. Then the Purva Pakhi is asking another question. Nanu. Naiva asmabhi pragavavasya bhavapattihi uchyate. But actually, we did not argue with you, and we were not trying to tell you that absence of pen, the prior absence of pen, is bhavatmaka. The absence of pen is in the parts of the pen. We didn't argue like this. You see, he's trying to avoid getting arrested, getting defeated. So he's taking another shifting and shuffling his position. He's saying, I didn't say that. If you argue like this, then he's saying, okay, if you say this, havasya eva hi tari bhavapatti, bhav ka hi bhav hua, पेन का पार्ट्स थे और वो बन गए, जुड़ गए, तो पेन बन गए and it becomes a pen. यथा घटस्य घटापत्ति ही, that means घट was there, it became a घट. पटस्य पटापत्ति ही, so पट was there, it became पट. So what was created? एतद् अभावस्य भावापतिवत् eva pramana viruddham. There also you cannot imagine there is any karya. The pen becomes a pen, the pencil becomes a pencil. What do you mean? If you are saying then abhava, the pen was not there, pen abhava was not there, that means pen was there. A pen was there, pen was made. Pencil was there, pencil was made. This absolutely has same way. It's illogical. Okay. Sankhya api, then he is saying he is rejecting. So that is how the Nyayakas are rejected. The Arambha Vada is refuted. Now he is going to refute the Sankhya Mata, and we have time. We'll try to wind it up. Bhavasya, then Sankhasya api yaha parinama pakyah sa api apurva dharma utpatti vinasa angikarat vaisasika pakhyat na visishyate. So the Vaisesika is saying what? There was something, but the pen is made for the first time. And when you destroy it, the pen also is destroyed. There's a pradhamsa bhava. That is what they said. What the what the Sankhya Mata says, there is gold, and you make a golden necklace. There is milk, then you make butter, out of which you make ghee. Now, what is the birth of ghee all about? There was dugdha dharma, the nature, the chemical qualities, the uses, everything, the dharma, or swarupata, or its whole material nature of milk. And there is a new material nature being born. Same Trigunatmika, new kind of coming together of these three gunas in butter. Okay, butter is more sattvika. Yeah, but the ghee is more sattvika. This ghee form is formed. Okay, so it will not get decomposed again. So it is more pricey, it's more valuable. So the ghee dharma is born out of a substance which had milk dharma. The milk nature is replaced with ghee nature or purified butter nature. That's what you're saying. It is not much different from what the Nyayika said. Same way you will argue. I would also ask you same questions. Where from ghee nature came? Was ghee nature there hiding in the milk nature? The moment you say yes, I would say, so what is ghee or the birth of ghee all about? It was already there. So the say X became X. Is that what you are saying? I'll find false with you. And if you say a completely different, I'll bring the same arguments. The absence of ghee nature became ghee nature. The same thing. Out of nothing, something comes out. I'll bring the Bandhyaputra argument and defeat you there. That's what he's saying. Now, he's saying abhivyakti tirobhava angikarane api. Even if you say abhivyakti, the expression, the appearance of that ghee nature, and vinasa of the ghee nature, if you put it on the fire, the ghee nature vanishes. The whole thing goes. Api avivyakti tirobhava yoho, the appearance and disappearance. Vidyamanatva avidyamanatva nirupane purvat eva pramana viruddha. So when this ghee materializes, the ghee dharma avivyakti and ghee dharma tirobhava, put it into fire. So it is avidyamana, then it becomes vidyamana. You put it in the fire, what was vidyamana, the ghee nature becomes again avidyamana. And this whole thing will again become problematic. Why? The Vedanta is a vivartavadi. And he will say all these changes are unreal. They are not fundamentally real. That's why he is being able to refute, because they are some kind of dualists and realists of some kind. So he is refuting them. Etena karanasya eva sansthanam utpati adi iti etadapi pratyuktam. Karanasya eva sansthanam, karya rupe sansthanam. Jo karana tha, there was pen, there was milk. Out of the milk, that milk was there. Karya rupa is ghee. The milk thing transforming itself to that ghee rupa is utpatti of ghee. The karana presenting, I mean, it's like a girl. She becomes a bride. How she becomes a bride? She becomes a man. No, she dresses up as a bride. Same daughter, same brother, same father, everybody is standing. Their sister goes to a room with her sister-in-law, elder sister, mother. They dress her up and she comes. And what people say? They refuse to address her by name. They say the bride is coming. It's the same girl, no? She's just coming. So he's saying that sansthanam utpati. Then you say bride has become born out of it. He's saying no, this can also be refuted. Where are you assigning the bride dharma? Where from bride dharma came? All these things I will raise and I will refute it. Pratyuktam. Then he says, Then Siddhanti is saying, Parisesad sad ekam eva vastu avidyaya. Vedanti comes in. He said, listen to me. I have all the answers to your problem. So what is the answer? He's saying, look, ekava vastu sad. That is Brahman. That is there. Vastu avidya, because of ignorance. Utpati vinasadi dharmaihi natavat anekadha vikalpati iti idam bhagavatam matam. Bhagavan kya kar rahe? You never understood it carefully because you didn't pay attention. Arjuna was listening. You did. Now listen to him again. Bhagavan says that Brahman is one. He explained that in chapter 9, chapter 7, chapter 13. You go back and read him. And then he's one. Then he becomes many. How? There is this actor, one act plays are there. So there is a single actor who becomes Dasaratha. It was there some years back in Bengal, in Orissa, if you remember. So there'll be one guy, and he will be, crying like Dasaratha. Then he becomes Kaikeyi. He demands the boons, and suddenly, then Rama comes, and then he becomes Vishwamitra. He gives Vishwamitra dialogue. One guy, he will be doing 20 roles, and people will be clapping and enjoying because he'll be changing his voice, his gestures, and everything. Natavat. It's like he doing like one guy, a film actor. He's a villain, he's a hero, he's this, that. Some of the in films, one actor has triple roles, isn't it? Similarly, Natavat, Anekadha Vikalpyate, Idi Idam Bhagavata Matam, that is Bhagavata Mata, Bhagavad Gita Mat, and Uktam Nasatu Vidyate Bhavaha, because out of Asat, Sat cannot come. The Sat is always there. So these changes, vikaras, everything that you're talking about are faulty. Iti asmin sloke, that is what is mentioned here. Tat pratyesya avyavicharat sat pratyesya. That sat pratyaya, that sat jnana, there is no vyavichara. Ghata sun, pata sun. The sun, easiness is common to all of this. Ghata pata, yeah, you can replace. Easiness, you cannot replace. Vichara, vyavichara cha iteresam. Iteresam, kesam, that particular ghata pata, all the nama rupas. They will not be there for all time to come. But that sadvastu, atma, always there. Katham tari atmana avikriyate asesta karmana tyagena utpadyate iti. Oh, really? You're saying like this? Now the backbench student, he's super excited. He said, sir, if that is Bhagavad Mata, why Bhagavan is confused us in saying Sahajam karma konteyo sadhu samapina tyajit? कर्म छोड़ना नहीं चाहिए. आपने बता दिया एक ही आत्मा है, उसको कुछ त्याग नहीं करना चाहिए. सवाल कहाँ से आता है? सर्वारंभाई दोषेण ध्रुमेण अग्नि अग्निरीवा आवृताः. What kind of nonsense you are saying? What is the need for this upadesa? Please don't leave your karma when I cannot swim. I don't know swimming. You are saying, please don't swim. I don't know swimming. You are saying I'm avikriya. I'm Suddha Buddha Mukta Svabhava Atma Eva. So karma त्याग क्या करना है? कर्म मेरा है ही नहीं. So I'm liberated. He's saying, he's explaining. Samatavan Uchyate, he's saying, no. Then Bhagavan is saying, yes, you are right. Yadi, Siddhanta is saying, Yadi Vastu Bhuta Guna Yadiva Avidya Kalpitaha Tad Dharma Karma Tada Atmani Avidya Adhyarupitam Eva iti Abidvan Nahi Kasid Kyanam Api Asesatah Tyaktam Saknoti iti Uktam. So, no, I agree with you, but this is Agyan Aropita Kriya Kalapa we are talking about. We are talking about Vyavaharika level of life, the empirical reality. We are talking about what goes on all around, what appears is real. We are talking at that level. At that level, who doesn't know what that Atma is, you heard me right now and you're trying to be a lazy guy and not do anything. No, but you don't qualify. Bhagavan has, he has already upbraided Arjuna and shouted at him in chapter 5 and saying that no, you are not yet ready. You first be ready, then you talk about research. First complete your undergrad, then post graduation, then we talk about research, like that. So he's saying asesata tyaktum, the agyani, he has to do karma. Otherwise, there'll be a lot of problem. Bhagavan has discussed that earlier. Vidvan tu punah vidya avidyam nibritayam saknoti eva asesata karma parityaktum. However, the jnani who has become, he has jnana yogyata, that samsiddhi is mentioned here, he gets the jnana yogyata and therefore he is established. Then he can leave karma asesatah. And how he can do asesata, he's explaining. It's very beautiful there. Avidya aropitasya sesa anupapattehe. Now, this is a beautiful example, the classic Vedanta example, right? So there was this rope lying in a room, and It looks like a snake. It frightens you. So then you tell your brother, and if you're a child of your, okay, now your children are saying, Papa, you call up a guy, you're calling forest department, snake helpline, you want to get rid of it. Then your younger little daughter goes and switches in the light and says, Papa, what is the snake, by the way? That was a rope. Then all of you have a hearty laugh. Now, Sankaracharya will ask, is there a little of snake left? No. Once you have jnana, there is no ajnana left. Okay, once you know it's a rope, there is no tail of snake left or the hood of the snake left. Snake doesn't exist at all. The fear, the reason for being afraid of the snake, any cause to again call up the forest department or snake helpline is there? No, snake doesn't exist. It didn't never exist. It appeared as if it existed. So he's saying tyaktum so asesatah karma parityaktum avidya aropitasya sesa anupapatte. Hey, this kartitva that I am a karta, I have to do, that will not remain once jnana happens. But there are certain schools of Vedanta, they believe there is avidya lesa, something is there because of Jivanamukti, that avidya lesa also causes some problem. So this is a very extreme and very fundamental and very rationalist interpretation of Vedanta. Later on, some people have found some gray areas. So even if you have Tattva Darshana, then you have to do Mononasa, and that's a long process. So you may take sannyasa, you may study Vedanta, but you will not be liberated. You have to, remove all the habitual tendencies of the mind, put the mind to rest, and that's a nididhyasana sadhana as to there. Nahi taimirika drishtya adhyarupetisya dvichandradehe timirapagame shesa vatistate. What we discussed, same thing is saying that let's imagine that person had some problem with his eyes. Then he did the cataract operation or whatever. So he used to see two moons at night. Once he has done the operation, will he see one moon and little of the other one he was seeing? No, he'll just see one moon. Same way, once avidya goes, the agency goes, there is no need for any word. Evam sati idam bachanam upapannam. So Bhagavan has said this in chapter 5, sloka number 13. Just give me 1 second. Chapter 5, sloka number 13. What did he say there? Yeah, so he's saying Sarva Karmani Manasa Sanyasaste Sukhim Vasi Navadvare Puri Dehi Naiva Kurban Na Karayat. Na karta hai, na karata hai. Sarva Karmani Manasa Sanyasya. In his mind, he renounces the agency. He is Sarva Karma Samya. Aste Sukham Vasi, and he's self-disciplined and he's peacefully there. And Balyana Tishta says, Navadvare, he continues in this body and there is no problem. So he's saying, Sarva Karmani Manasa Ityadi Swe Swe Karmani Abhiratha Sansiddhim Lavate Naraha. Verse number 45. Just we finish this. Swakarmana Tam abhyarcha siddhim bindati manavha. Verse number 46. So he had said all this. So sarva karma tyaga is it's just a very easy thing to do, provided you have atmagyana. But for those who haven't got atmagyana, they cannot escape from work. They have to do their duty. They have to do it Ishvara Arpana Buddhya. They have to do Nishkama Karma Yoga. Then only they will be jnana. Okay, so that is how the verse number 18 we have managed to wind up completely today, and then we will go forward with our commentary on the other verses. We'll pay a little attention to Madhusudana Saraswati because this has been very exhaustive for verse number 18, and then we'll do that on Monday. Tomorrow is a Sunday. So any questions, or we can do the Santi Mantras?
Swamiji,